Now, I've got a list here of the times and dates of the robberies. I need to know from you exactly where you were and with whom at these times.
Oh, you're joking. Look, I couldn't tell you where I was last week, let alone way back then. Do you think I keep a diary? Tea with the vicar, 5 p.m.
Well, you must know somebody. Friends who can give you an alibi for these times.
Oh, they come, they go, you know.
I see. Well, do you know anybody who can post the $1,000 bail for you?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them just standing there waiting to fill in their checkbooks. I'll talk sense, can't you?
Well, I'll have a look through my notes and see what I can dig up.
Hurry up, I'm sick of this hole.
We're finished, thank you.
You haven't started, but you'd better and quick.
That's enough, Maguire. She's Irish.
And innocent.
Most of them are.
Not very imaginative.
Practical, though, and reasonably comfortable, according to the women.
Well, if it's all right by them, who am I to criticise? So, what's next?
You're to be put in our isolation section. You'll have access to the library. You can have a typewriter if you want one. And you're to be excluded from the normal work roster. Naturally, you'll eat and spend your recreation periods with the other women.
I broke the law, Mrs. Reynolds. I expect to be treated exactly the same as every other inmate.
You misunderstand me, Miss Wells. We're not just considering your comfort. We're considering the other inmates and the effect that your being here could have on them. They're not all fans, you know. Survival's the name of the game in prison, and even you could find yourself a little out of your depth.
Possibly. But it's only for 2 weeks. Mrs. Reynolds, if you or the department try to mislead me about the normal conditions in here, it'll be bad for Wentworth when I start broadcasting again.
Ask Miss Ferguson to step in, please. Allot Miss Wells a single dormitory and escort her there, please.
Certainly, Governor. This way, Miss Wells.
She's going to be trouble.
Oh, I don't know about that. Seem to be making things pretty easy for her.
A room all to myself.
I'm just following orders, Miss Wells.
I'm sure you're quite good at that.
Well, yes, I've had the right background. My father was a major in the army, and I was acting governor here for a short time.
How come?
Well, Mrs. Reynolds had to have surgery, and that required her to take some leave. The deputy had some personal problems, so the department decided I should take over temporarily.
Big responsibility.
Oh, yes. I enjoy that. And you do too, obviously. Well, I'm sure you'll find this quite helpful.
Book of Regulations. Sure, I'll find it fascinating reading. There's been quite a lot of problems in this place over the past few months.
Oh, yes, it happens in every prison. I'm sure things will run quite smoothly now that Mrs. Reynolds is back in the chair.
You admire her?
Oh, yes. She understands the balance between fair treatment and necessary discipline. The women respect that. So do the staff. Well, most of them. I certainly do.
But you still wouldn't mind stepping into her shoes?
Ambition is no crime. In your line of work, or in mine, Miss Wells. And I'm sure you'll be able to find the recreation area and the toilet facilities. No doubt the women will give you a favourable reception, but if you do have any problems, please let me know.
Thank you, Miss Ferguson. I think I'll be able to cope. I didn't think you'd come, Eddie.
We're still legally married, aren't we? I thought maybe you wanted to talk business.
Is that all we've got left between us?
Now, that's a laugh coming from you.
Eddie, I'm scared.
You? Baby, you could swallow me for breakfast and not even hiccup.
There's a warder, Rick Manning, used to be in the force.
Yeah. He's a mate.
Well, he's got it in for me.
And why not? As I said, he's a mate.
And an officer, Joan Ferguson.
So this place has really got to you, hasn't it? You don't need to talk to me. Tell the governor you need to see the shrink.
I know it was hard on you, Eddie, but there were good times, too. Surely you haven't forgotten what it was like in the beginning?
I'm working on it.
She pushed me into making deals with her when I first came in. Joan Ferguson. Now I know too much.
You got yourself into it, baby. You get yourself out.
Eddie! Please help me.
There's just one problem, Sonia. My last visit. You said you only married me because you needed a cover. Well, you're on your own, kid.
I thought perhaps we could start our own glee club.
What the hell's that?
It's a singing group. As a matter of fact, the history of glee clubs is very interesting.
It's just like the Beatles, girls, but with all class and no beat.
Not exactly.
Where does the glee come in?
When you start singing, I bet.
Well, I think it's a very nice idea.
If we really practice, we shall be able to enter a competition or two, you know.
Me Uncle Mike had a fine tenor voice. Trouble was, I had a ruddy rough passage getting out.
I think we should give it a go.
Oh, I'm not sure you've met...
Well, we don't need an introduction, Mr. Dobson. Well, you sure got a lot of fans around here for your radio show.
Well, we'll organise the glee club later.
Hello? Making me feel like a bit of a goldfish.
Oh, sorry. It's just that we're not used to having anyone famous around here, you know.
Look, this is very uncomfortable. If I'd known you were going to be like this, well, I'd have paid the damn fines instead of telling the judge to go screw himself.
Why do you give the people who ring in such a bad time?
Yeah, you don't pull your punches.
Well, it'd be pretty bloody boring if I did. That's what keeps them listening.
Eddie, you know Michael Parkinson?
Yes.
Oh. Bobby'll be green-eyed. We've met you first. She always listens to you.
Well, he told me I'd be doing time with a bunch of murderers and pros, but damned if I can tell which is which.
We're not sure ourselves.
Oh, Senior Detective Stevens, isn't it?
That's right. I'd like a word with Rick Manning.
Oh, I'm sorry, he's off duty at the moment. I didn't think we'd see you back again, Senior, after your last visit.
Not really your problem, is it, Miss Ferguson? Then I guess old protective habits die hard.
Oh, I think Stevens can look after herself.
Does she need to?
The prisoner who attacked her has been transferred.
Good. I'm still officially her husband, so I'll be keeping a finger on the pulse. Tell Rick that I was asking after him, yeah?
Yes, of course, Senior.
Hey, get the fruit, eh? Must be a VIP amongst us.
What's it like generally?
Mark.
Yeah, I suppose the Department of Nervous are going to print a few home truths when you get out of here.
Not too subtle, are we? Oh, I might as well enjoy it while they're laying it on.
Couldn't get your sentence extended a bit, could you?
You're Sonia Stevens. I've seen you around the area I work.
Sorry, can't place you.
Meryl King. I know your husband, Eddie.
Can we drop the subject? Eddie and I don't have anything in common anymore.
Just thought you'd be interested. Old Eddie's not the innocent he used to be.
Meaning?
On the take, like the rest of them.
Colleen, the department's just approved